So I started my law enforcement career as a cadet in high school when I was a senior at North Thurston High School, where I graduated. And back then, with the city of Lacey, the cadets ran the office and the phone from midnight Friday to midnight Sunday.
Really?
We answered the phones, we dispatched police cars, and did all that when Lacey Police first got started. And I wasn't there at the very, very beginning, but it came in probably within a year. Because City of Lacey became incorporated in '66, the police department, and it was initiated in '67. So that's where I first started, was as a cadet at Lacey PD, as my name tag show, since 1967. So in next year's 50 years. So that's why I started. I started my career there. And then, when I became 21 years old, I became an actual reserve officer. So when you become a reserve, you get to pick a gun. So that was a pretty big deal for me. So I spent my 21st birthday riding in the police car because I was now a reserve, not a cadet back then. However, you had to be 23 to be full-time law enforcement with the city of Lacey at that time. So I got a job at Ocean Shores Police, working for Don Redmond, who was later a sheriff here in Thurston County.
Okay.
So I got a job there as working the desk and being in patrol at Ocean Shores Police. So I spent a year there. When Don Redmond made sheriff, I came up here and worked for 911 as a dispatcher for 1 year. County jail for 6 or 8 months as a corrections officer. And then took Lacey's test when I was 23 and stayed there till 2006.
Wow.
So put 35 years in at Lacey PD. Well, I wasn't really ready to give it up yet. I needed to do something more, so I was testing in Oregon because of my Left 1, which is a law enforcement firefighter system 1 plan. You really needed to go out of state if you wanted to maintain that plan at that current level. So I tested in Reedsport, and they offered me the chief's job, and then I got a call from Evergreen, interim chief here, who said, "Hey, Ed, you got to come up and look us over." I said, "Well, I don't know about Evergreen if I really want to do that. Pretty liberal place. Don't know." But anyway, so I came up, and she's on, was Kim Zangar. She was a trooper, a retired captain from the State Patrol that was the interim here. And so I came up, looked it over, and I called the retirement board and said, "Hey, are they recognizing the law enforcement firefighter system 1? No, they didn't. I said, "Well, then, okay, that helps, because then I could come here and not affect my retirement at Lacey."
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, I was an interim for 2 months, and I had to test and compete with other outside people, and then I was offered a position and started working here in July 1st of 2006. 2% of law enforcement from cities and counties and state actually ever have this opportunity, so that was a highlight. To spend 3 months in training for administration, management kinds of courses in Quantico with FBI agents actually instructing. So that was a good thing. I enjoyed that. And then I was put in a position where I actually, being in community policing as much as I was, especially when I got back and was exposed to the Crime Stopper program, was able to actually get a Crime Stopper program up and running here in Thurston County.
Okay.
I think they're a little different than we are. We, the coffee and donuts kind of police officer that I was in my early years, now that's, it's maybe espressos and yogurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not knocking it. It's good. They're more healthy. I think they're more educated, more professional. I think the profession is turned into just that, a actual profession. I think when you look at use of force and advancements in technology with law enforcement in regards to less than lethal force kinds of use or equipment that officers are trained in how to use, You know, we might have had some mace early on, or we call it a CN. Now it's the pepper spray, which is a very good alternative. Some have beanbag kinds of shotguns. The tasers, of course, didn't come till later. But the technology in less than lethal force, the use of force policies, pursuit policies. Why chase a car at 100 miles an hour because the driver's suspended or has a misdemeanor warrant? No. You can kill a family of 5 over that? That doesn't happen like it maybe could have or did in the early years of law enforcement before the data proved that you need strict policies on chasing people. It's just not now. If we're talking about a capital, what we call BARC felony, it's burglary and armed robbery, or and kidnapping, things like that. Yes, that might be different, or homicide, somebody shot somebody, of course. But I think I feel that this kind of looking into how police operate over the years has really changed, and for the better. And I like where it's going. I, for one, have had to make a lot of changes myself in my thought process on how we administer law enforcement nowadays versus then. So it's come a good distance, and it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been appropriate.
Yeah.
My hat's off to these. We've got the best bunch of police chiefs and sheriff here in this county. I think the citizens should be very, very content with the kind of leadership that we have. I'm not really a world traveler kind of guy.
Okay.
I didn't really plan on any world cruises or anything. I think I'm going to stay here, obviously in Thurston County, where my son and my daughter reside. I'd like to see one of them settle down one day and have kids, because I'd be grandpa, but that's not happening right away. That's okay. But I think just community service, working with the Lions Club, and I enjoy the guys there and the gals, and I'll be doing that. I want to do what I can to keep our Crime Stopper program going. We've gotten some good support from the community on that. And it really helps law enforcement. We're going to have our first meeting coming up the second Tuesday of September, and the chiefs and the sheriff, well, whoever represents the sheriff will be there for that. It's a 7:30 in the morning meeting, and it's so we're looking forward to that.
Okay.
Some projects like that going on. I want to reconnect with some relatives that I really haven't taken the time to do because you get so busy in your life,
Yeah.
So I want to do that. Yeah.